Kylie, and this is my final project for Art 118 graphic design. I decided to go with the concept of a glass half empty. One of the things that I first did was import all the photos. This is what I started with. These are all the images that I used. I used these 4 images to create this one image in the end. I started off by using the background and playing a lot with the grain and texture of the back wall, which was not present when the light was there. I used a lot of different edits in contrast and with the saturation and the brightness. If I scroll down in my layers, let's go down to my layers here. We can see that I did a lot of color balancing, black and white, brightness, contrast, hue, saturation, a lot of just imperfections, as well as a photo filter for some really high grain and texture in order to get this dimension to come off the background. I wanted it to have like an almost old-timey feel, and then in the center, everything was very controlled and smooth, everything except for the lightning. When I added the cup, I started by lassoing it and then selecting the image and then removing using an eraser. And I used a sharp eraser to do that with basically maximum hardness. Getting into the actual storm itself, when I actually added the clouds, one of the things that I was struggling with was making it very cloud-like. I basically just went all the way to no hardness at all, and just did a bunch of erasing there and kind of feathered it into the cloud so that you still got a little bit of dimension that made the clouds look how a cloud should look, kind of fluffy. I then went in and added the lightning bolts, which I lassoed and removed the background from the original lightning storm photo. I ended up only using 2 bolts, so then I removed all the rest of the bolts that would have been out here on this side and this side. One of the interesting things that I also did in this project was, as soon as I was adding all these filters to the cup, I realized that the actual cup itself was being lost. It looked more like a can. So in order to get rid of that, I wanted to create a little lip at the top. So I actually took the filter that I used to edit it, and I just moved it enough, if I go back, to where you can see like a little bit of the cup, and it makes it have a little bit more dimension. Overall, I played a lot with different photo adjustment properties, such as brightness, contrast, hue, and saturation, as well as grain and that texture in the background. But all in all, these are a rundown of some of the things that I did in my final project to get from these images and then end up with this image. So that is my art final for 118 for this semester, and it is entitled Glass Half Empty.